I'm very, very pleased to have one of France's top architects here today, Maxime who's based in Paris, and who is going to be talking us through, well, a very, very particular project. So this is a very a real treat, I would say, for you guys, if you allow me to say that. Maxime has won the commission to redesign the interiors of the new next generation Orient Express. Not only the trains, but also the boats. Yes, there are boats. And this will be coming alive in 2025. But in the meantime, we can talk about the concept, the design, the genesis, and so on. And maybe before that, well, welcome, Maxime. Welcome. And maybe before that, I give our audience here a very short, super quick biography of you. So your office is 30 years old. That's right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, but you're a little bit older than that. If you don't mind me saying so. I mean, this is your text, basically, so it's all incredibly complimentary. And so, I mean, what I'm astounded by is that the diversity of the projects that you've worked on. You have created operating theatres, so surgery rooms and emergency rooms at the American Hospital in Paris. You restructured the very historic Guerlain building on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. You have designed, and we'll see this coming up on screen, you've designed and built a stud farm, which I don't know what the German is. What's the German for stud farm? It means where horses do their business to create new horses. A breeding farm for horses called Arras de la Gesse, which is somewhere near Paris, is it? Or
no, in southwest of France.
Right, exactly. And which was constructed from classical stone, and etc., etc. Lots of beautiful private villas and so on. So I think things are going rather well for you. But where are you from originally? You're not from Paris. You're from the south, right?
I'm from south, yes.
But you've been based in Paris for a long time?
Yeah, since 50 years.
And what's changed in terms of, just out of interest for the audience, what's changed in terms of the architectural scene in Paris? Has it developed? Is it better than it was? Or is it not such a good time to be in the industry in Paris?
As everyone here, we need to find some work somewhere else, but we have the Olympic Games who make a few interesting projects, but Paris is not extremely easy to build new things because all the rules are really extremely strict and historic. So we have to go somewhere else to be really creative.
And going somewhere else, you've actually found a project now where it's on the road, it's moving all the time, it could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's better. So with the train and the boat, we are on a project on trying to reinvent slow travel with the question of sustainability and luxury of this kind of travel.
So this is, I mean, it would be an insult maybe to describe this as an interior design project. This is a lot more than that. It's an architecture project. It's an industrial design project.
Yeah.
So tell me about the brief first of all, and who's behind this? Who's the client?
The client is Accor, the hotel group, French one, big one. They asked me to reinvent what could be the Orient Express in 2050. No plagiat, no copy, and to try to go on the myth and to kind of have a kind of fantasy of Art Deco, and to not to show anything too contemporary, and to respect all the history of Orient Express, which is really wide and large, because the guy really invented the travel at the beginning of the 20th century.
So they said, we don't want a pastiche.
No.
We want a reinterpretation.
Yeah.
And this is quite a challenge, right? Because you want to have enough historical references and cues to create the sense of authenticity without copying.
Yeah, in fact, the archives are really great because we have all the work of Suzanne Lalique, René Proux, and all
Right.
the designer of the 1925. And Orient Express and Compagnie des Wagons-Lits got a huge amount of archive on art de vivre, and they do a lot of train, different design. So it was easy to go through the mountain of drawing, plans, sketch, sample, and all train.
How long did that take? I mean, how long did you spend in the research phase?
8 months full time with a small
Wow.
team. A lot of travel, just to take trains and to a lot of drawing, and they pay. In fact, it was that part of the luxury project. They pay the time to draw and to have the real concept.
Right.
Just not to be in a hurry, and to be paid to have the time to draw. It's really seldom. My colleagues know that it's complicated to sell, draw, and concept, and the time to do mistake, to redo things, and not to be on a hurry on that kind of project. Anyway, it's an industrial project. You have a lot of big company. When you are doing plane, boat, or train, you can kill. So the legislation are really different. You go through country, that's not the same legislation in Norway and in Bulgaria. So there is not the same legislation for fire, for security, and the train is moving really differently than a boat. And you need to be good also on material and deformation. And you need to have a process of engineering close with architecture and with design. So I'm lucky because I'm on that kind of project, on a boat and on a train.
So let's break this down a bit. What are the key challenges with designing interiors, environments for spaces that are moving a lot of the time?
So first challenge is to create a room in less than 2 meters wide. So 1 meter point 98 centimeters. So that's the main point.
Sounds like my first apartment I lived in
Yes,
in
maybe
Zurich.
it was mine too. So that's the first point, and after that to reinvent something. For example, Orient Express at the beginning in a coach, it was 10 cabins, 1 toilet. So now we are not going to do that. So it will be 3 suites and with their own bathroom, shower, toilets, and everything. And after that, in the Orient Express, they got a concept called la grande transformation, the great transformation. Means you are traveling during the day, you have a decor in your room, you are going for dinner, you come back, you have a different decor. So you have to manage this transformation to create a kind of surprise or animation, because train is long, sometimes it's slow, and you have to design that.
And transformation delivered via tech, delivered via
No, transformation
digital screens, or how?
Yeah, so
Or lights?
light and also moving of furniture. So in fact, during the day you have a big room, big living room, and after dinner you have a big room. So there is a movement of a bed, couch, and everything, quick, easy. And it means that you can lay during the day, read a book or sleep, but also move in your apartment. And during the night, you need to be really extremely comfortable in a big bed and to have the good room. That was one of the challenge. After that, that's the same story. You meet people in the corridor. It's not really large, and you have to invent a few places, a bar where you can have a lot of drinks, and the good restaurant where you can spend time also. That's the same story. In fact, the founder of Orient Express, Nagelsmaker, he was Belgium, and after that more French, but he really invents this kind of sociability in the travel. So you need to be alone when you are in your room, quiet, not too much people, and if you are going out on a bar, on a restaurant, you need to meet people, to be elegant, to create some link. Same story.
So it's not. I mean, it's for people. This is an experience for people with a certain financial wherewithal with a certain amount of money, but not people who are sociophobes. I mean, there's a certain level of, through the proximity of the closeness of the tightness of the spaces, there's a certain amount of interaction that is required.
But that's the way since the beginning. So les voyageurs of the Orient Express, one of the heaviest of the world, means you need a lot of tons of steel to make them move. It's really light to do that in car, by plane, by boat, but the train was the most expensive way to move people. So with the engine and of the beginning of the 20th century, it was extremely expensive. Now with electricity and new way to move with traction, it's really possible now again.
Let's talk a bit about material specification. So you did your research in the archives, and then obviously you had a very clear idea of what your concept was, your 21st century concept was. Which particular materials did you focus on, and why?
So Orient Express use a lot of wood. So in a train of that kind, dark wood is really working well. So it was one of the base, but we didn't want to do like a cigar box, only wood. So we have to find opposition and to make it lighter and more, I don't want to say modern, but more in the century. And after that, we used to think about leather, but we try to not to go on vegan leather because it's not good. It's not. We don't know how it's going to work in 10 years, and we find a few other solutions around that kind of research. So steel, glass, mirror, wood. So usual kind of material, but with a different thickness, with a different weight.
And that's a very important point, isn't it? Weight.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about a train, if we just focus on the trains for a second, were you very consciously designing interiors that would lead to a certain energy efficiency in terms of the amount of electricity used for transport for movement of these trains?
So anyway, we are designer, but we are in front of people. We are not kidding with weight and with water, with electricity in a train. So it's extremely complicated. So you have to play with that, and it's sometimes complicated. You have to be light, but sometimes your gravity center need to be really on the floor, just not to move. Right. So light and also with extremely low center of gravity. So after that, you have to design things around that, and you have to invent system. You have to deal with an engineer, but we are really on bespoke. It's really sur mesure, new chair. Everything is new. So
it's I guess the German word is Gesamtkunstwerk, that every single element of the space has been considered. Did you? So that's we design. We have material selection, material specification. What about fabrication? I mean, because it seems to me there's a lot of craftsmanship involved here. Could you actually find specialists? Artisans to create these elements for you? And I wonder, as a second supplementary question, were any of the original, the companies who originally designed elements for the old interiors still around and still able to handle this?
So we've got a lot of panels of Lalique, lamps of Lalique, some marquetry also, and we reuse everything. So and fortunately, we've got a lot of really good craftsmen in France. And anyway, the Orient Express at the beginning was created to become a kind of embassy of the really art de vivre français. As in the plates, the glass, everything was redrawn, the food, and also the decoration. So I've got the chance to work with a lot of extremely good master of craft in wood, iron, glass, and they are really bringing a lot of technology and history in the design.
How did you actually find them?
In fact, as I'm working since a long time, they know me, I know them, and the difficulty is to find real project with a certain amount of money to be able to put it in the game. And after that, to save enough money to give them a really field of expression. So by chance on these projects, I've got the two. So
are you able to tell us what the budget is for this project? No.
No.
Not even an indication, like a
no.
Well, okay.
No, we don't like to talk about money in France.
He's doing it for charity. It's all for charity. No money. I wonder what are the advantages that you have now at this point in the 21st century, working on a project like this that the original designers of the interiors didn't have. What's the?
In fact, they give me a kind of we say carte blanche to reinvent a trademark. So got a trademark which was created in 1894 or 96, and to make it commercial for the next decade, and to reinvent what they stopped with the First World War.
Right.
Means go through country by train, and also doing that by boat. So, and I've got a real huge good technology with me. For the boat, we have the yard of Chantier de l'Atlantique, which build the France, the Normandy kind of boat. So they are really, it's a good place to be. You are in front of 1,000 engineers when you are working, so you need to be on time because they are not kidding. And the interest and the financial interest and the industrial process is so huge, so you can be only a dreamer on that spot. But I can be, the client asked me to be a dreamer and also to be a piece of steel just to make it going through and to be in the water in December 25 and on track in beginning of 25 for the train and the boat.
This is quite a tight schedule, I would say.
Yes.
And where are you at now in the project?
So for the boat, all the plans are on, but on the boat, you are inventing everything. It's a boat of 220 meters with a mast of 100 meters high in carbon with a high technology. So it's a Velic, it's wind technology. So if we've got a small wind, we don't need engine. It's not a view of spirit of anything, it's real. And we have hydrogen, no more gasoline, so we will be really green. So with all this technology, we work with a lot of other good people which are really smart and perfect, and we are now on the end of development of plan. First piece of metal will be cut in 10 months. We put the boat on the essay on water at the end of December 25. Anyway, we cannot go through 5 days about after this date because they've got other boats and command behind us. So we need to respect all the rules, and we draw anything. We are talking about 1,000 people behind me who draw everything with me. And for the train, same thing in the smallest scale, but complicated. So we've got 600 people just working on plans design, not of my agency because we are only 4 or 5. I don't want to be more, but I have the chance to work with that kind of system, and I'm kind of a chef d'orchestre, which which was the role of the architect a long time ago, because we are not specialists in everything, but we need to have.
It's impossible to be.
No, we need to have knowledge about a few things and be able to get the good weddings around us. So I'm in the middle of a kind of maelstrom, and I will be in a better shape in beginning of 26.
You're going to have to come back and talk about the project once it's been completed. So I'm right in thinking there's no scheduled service. This will purely be for hire. Is that right? Or there will be a timetabled service for the train?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So there'll be a regular service for the train. You just book your.
But
it's not a location, for example.
No. It will be on track with a few journey going to Istanbul through the east by Baviera or through west, and it will be 3 or 4 days of journey, and it will be on sale in less than 1 year.
Oh. Guys, amazing, amazing. I'm sure you have questions, comments, or I mean, what do you think of this project? Is it a grand folly for people who have too much money, or is it a very important cultural undertaking, bringing something back to life which has real meaning and significance in terms of design history? Or maybe you just want to know what Maxime's thoughts are on Deutsche Bahn. I mean, it's all the floor is yours. Who has a question for Maxime? Don't be shy. You can ask in German as well if you want. The young-looking man in the front.
Thank you. I'm fascinated by the whole project. Amazing, and I think it's a chance that these horrible cruise boats maybe go a bit back to train, electric movement. So it's really, I think, on an ecological level, a chance to do something. But I was fascinated by the fact that they paid you for a month-long research. So you've been traveling and you tested how it is to live in a moving space. And my question is, what was your main, let's say, Heureka moment, or what were the main ideas you got and learnings you got from this living in a train? What is different if you?
I didn't hear so well.
So all that research you did by actually traveling yourself, which you were paid for.
Yeah.
What were the key learnings from that traveling around? Was there a eureka moment that you had?
There is a lot of key learning. So I cannot. Everything was really important. Just to go through an old car designed in 1925, to see the details of glass, sculptured glass by Lalique, marqueterie, invention to make it clever for the journey, all the detail of lamps, of table which didn't take real place. The inventions they put and they did at this period with the quality of details, it was impossible not to go to do the same kind of work and reflection. So the key word is work on details and take the time to do it. So we didn't really care about fashion, tendance, and anything. We just work on the trademark and what could be clever to do for the next decade, not for the next 2 years. We don't care. So keyword was just to learn of when you go through Normandy is now it's not there anyway, but you see the plans and the document was provided in the before the Second World War, and for the train or for the boat, the quality of the drawing, the precision, they could really make 20 plans only for a carafe, just to get the good carafe on the table. So if you do that for a carafe, how many times you can spend for the table, for the wall, for the ceiling, and for everything matched together. So the key word was to just not to be, how do you say, we need to be better and to be on the same line.
And I guess we all wish that that level of design consideration was applied democratically to everyday public transportation. That would be a wonderful thing. If somehow that there was a trickle down
but for example, for the boat, the technology of they call that silent seals. It's from the Chantier de l'Atlantique. This kind of mast, which is carbon, which is 100 meter high, it could really move because it doesn't go through the Golden Gate at San Francisco. So imagine a mast of 100 meters going way,
down.
Going this way, and the ville, la voile, the sail, needs to be a mix of carbon and fabric because no surface more than 1,000 square meters can take wind without
breaking. Right.
So we need to invent all that kind of stuff, and in 10 years, a lot of cargo will be with that kind of mast, and you will see it definitely. So this kind of luxury project will be also extremely good for the main transportation on sea.
Seems like it. I mean, hopefully there is some wider benefits. The research that you've done will the learnings will be available to other designers working on other maybe less prestigious projects. Guys, is there any particular aspect of the project you really liked? You can say it in German, English, French, whatever language you like best. Or you can speak to the man himself afterwards.
Or not.
He's around. But thank you very much for your question. Thank you.
Okay.
Guys, this has been Maxime Dongiac. I've been Simon King-Cowell from Architonic, and thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you.
I